Hello and welcome to our channel. We do tarot readings, astrology, and predictions for world events, countries, and anything that people request from us. Last week, Hurricane Helene hit North Carolina and Tennessee very hard, and the government has not been responding in a very proper manner, let's say.
There's a lot of theories about what happened. There's some very strange radar signatures that are showing up. We're not going to get into the,
Weather manipulation
thing. People can figure that out for themselves. We got enough to talk about. Just the way the government responded to this is enough for us to discuss in this reading. FEMA hired some private contractor and gave him an exclusive contract to deliver emergency relief and supplies to the hurricane area. The corporation that was hired didn't respond in a very efficient manner. Apparently some towns just reek from the dead bodies that need to be cleaned up. One thing we know for sure is that the government just flew in an extra 5,000 body bags to clean up the dead bodies. People tried to help, but the police were ordered to stop people from going in because they were protecting the exclusive contract of this corporation that failed to do anything, apparently. The government was more concerned with protecting the corporation that had given the exclusive contract to than it was to rescuing people or even removing the dead bodies.
So our question for the cards was, what will come of this? There will obviously be terrible consequences to this, but will it awaken people? Will people start seeing that, okay, things are worse than we thought when it comes to the government's lack of response, let's say?
People can't help but see that after this, the government is not concerned with helping the people. The government is not there to protect us or to serve us. The government is there to do the biddings of the corporations that give donations to the campaign funds of the politicians.
So let's say what the cards had to say about the situation and what we can expect. So the signifier represents the people. We got the Seven of Cups, which is all about confusion, not seeing things clearly. I think this comes from people not knowing what to believe, because there are a lot of theories on whether the hurricane was orchestrated, whether it was planned by the government or somebody who works for them, which is one thing that people are starting to talk a lot about. Another is just the response itself. We're hit by a massive hurricane and we're not even allowed to accept aid from people that are coming voluntarily to bring us food because they're more interested in money.
Yeah, it's clear. People are just still confused. There are people that think the government is there to protect us, but I don't know how they can continue to think that after what we've seen in this horrendous bungling of the response to Hurricane Helene.
I think there's so much information and so many different theories and things that people write about and talk about that it's hard to tell what's real from what's not real.
The confusion is understandable. We've been working really hard. This is the root card. The root card is the Ten of Wands. That represents being blinded by our own burden. It's a heavy load that we're carrying. We can't see the forest for the trees. We can just see the heavy load in front of us. But it's also a 10, which is completion. So we've gotten through this. We're getting through this.
It's like the last heavy burden before you finally see through the sticks you've been carrying and like, oh, okay, that's what's been going on. Okay, now I get it.
And the reason we've assigned our personal sovereignty over to the government is because we're afraid of our own spirit, our own soul, our own power. That needs to be born. We need to bring that into existence. We need to quit worrying about this heavy load we're carrying. And the Ace of Cups represents a
new spiritual beginning, right? So it's this fear that, okay, this has been a very heavy chapter, but we're afraid to come to the end because we know that a new beginning will need to be based on something so different and it's so foreign to people. And the Ace of Cups is modified by the devil. So this kind of represents the temptation to stay in the old, no matter how heavy and dense and terrible it is. It's like, I'll rather stay in this horrific reality that they've constructed for us because I'm chained to this concept of safety.
We're comfortable in our own slavery, our own enslavement by what appears to be a completely corrupt and ineffective government.
And the overall situation is the Tower. That was the overall situation the last time too. And it fits perfectly. It's chaos. Like, okay, a hurricane is obviously gonna bring a lot of chaos, a lot of death and destruction. And it's like the Tower of Babel's coming down. At the same time, we have the lovers in the present moment. This is the energy that is bringing people together in their pain and their loss, right? So this is kind of like people wanting to help each other out. And even though the police might be keeping them back because, oh no, you can't bring these people food. They might be trying to block this energy of generosity and love, but it's still there. It still exists. And I think people are having a lot of compassion for their fellow citizens right now.
Right now, the astrological energy is the Queen of Cups. And that is the bringing into creation our own spirit. That is bringing into creation the power that we're afraid of, the power we possess over those bungling shithooks.
There's a chance we'll miss that opportunity, that we won't see it. It's like, it's in the air, we're being called to move forward in this way, but people are still a bit hesitant about the cup cards.
They're still attached to the pedestal of Big Brother. They're still attached to their own slavery.
And I think that's tied to the Desire card too. The Desire is the 9 of Wands, which is a wounded warrior, somebody that's tired and that's been to battle. And it's almost like we're attached to that. That's the root card, the 10, and the 9 is the Desire card. It's like we want to be stuck in this battle. It's modified though by death, which is saying this battle, this old battle, there's always going to be challenges and difficulties, but this one needs to come to an end. This is coming to an end with the Tower, and whether people accept it or not, it needs to happen.
Our psychological future is the Ace of Pentacles. That's the birth of earthly power. That's using our spiritual power, our incredible power resources we have as human beings, and taking control of the earth, taking control of the world around us. The Gateway card is the Knight of Swords. That's swift action. That's how we get from the slavery into the future. That's how we bring ourselves together and act.
This can be kind of rushed and kind of potentially chaotic, and I think the reason that's the gateway is because the Tower demands it. Things are moving so fast right now that people have to act quickly. We can't sit around and just think about what to do. We need to act now. And in the future card, we have the High Priestess. That can mean different things, but I think in this context, it has to do with us processing the information that's coming through and not allowing it to affect us so much that we can't kind of use our magic and be calm and be in this receptive mode that, okay, that old chapter is over. We saw what happened with the hurricane. We cannot continue to allow this to happen. We have to break loose from this. We might need to use some feminine magic to get that done.
When we process what we've been through, when we step back and look at what we've gone through, when we process the trauma of that, that's going to bring us to a place that we haven't been for a very long time. That's the Six of Cups. It's past joy, past pleasure coming back. It's
nostalgia too sometimes.
It's sort of the return to the wisdom of the land of children, as Nietzsche would say.
And it's modified by the Hierophant, which has to do with governments and authorities, right? Somebody on a pedestal. And I think it will be hard because we still have that attachment. We're kind of trying to return to this place of purity, and this kind of energy will be the hardest to come, will be the hardest to get rid of.
The Hierophant is earthly power. It's power through normal channels. It's taking control of not just your world, but your government, your leaders, becoming your own leaders. The Hierophant is a leader, and he's kind of a normal leader. It's kind of like a normie leader.
Normie leader.
He's not the emperor, but he's more like the high priest. He's the father, the pastor of the church or whatever. This is taking control of academe, regaining control of not just our government, but the school system that's corrupting our children.
It's all the information. I think really since the Seven of Cups is the signifier, that is the major challenge right now. It's not just the Tower, it's not just the chaos, it's what we're trying to make of it, right? So it's all this confusion and it's all this misinformation mixed with real information, with truth, and getting to a point where we can discern that I think that's what the High Priestess is saying, actually. We need to get beyond the illusions and all the confusion and not seeing clearly and trusting the wrong leaders. And we need to get to a point where we can use our own discernment and see what is false and what is truth.
And we're going to get an opportunity to do that. We just need to see it. We need to look with our eyes, listen with our ears. We need to be aware of this opportunity when it arises, and we're going to have to take action. This might be dramatic. Some of these shitheads aren't going to be too happy about us no longer employing them.
So I think that's all we got for today. If you have any questions or suggestions for videos, please comment below. If you want a personal reading, please contact us. We love giving personal readings.
Stay safe, and when you hear somebody say, "I'm from FEMA, I'm here to help," run.
Have a good week, and we hope to see you in our next video.